Why is intellectual virtue so fierce, so important? The reason it's fierce is because if it is utilized, if it is adopted, if it is embraced at the axiomatic level, then it provides the necessary commitments, value structure to refute error. Because the person who submits to intellectual virtue, who accepts intellectual virtues, is pursuing the truth. And this pursuit of the truth, this project, this disposition of objectivity or desire for objectivity, for honesty, for humility, it forces us to approach knowledge, proclamations, claims, premises in a very different way. A person who's exercising and practicing intellectual virtue cannot just walk away from a valid refutation or a valid objection. They have to entertain it. They have to consider how that refutation or objection impacts their own belief. So a great deal of time, what we are seeing in discourse is the total absence of intellectual virtue. One of the main ways that sophists are getting away with their sophistry, with holding on to their indefensible positions, their indefensible supernaturalism, their indefensible metaphysics, is that they are not taking heed to, they are rejecting, they are not practicing intellectual virtue. When intellectual virtue is practiced, it places a thinker in a difficult position, a position that motivated reasoners don't want to be in. And that's a position of having to refute the beliefs that they cherish or the beliefs that they desire to be true. Intellectual virtue commits these type of thinkers to standards that have the capacity to completely obliterate and destroy their premises. This frightens them. So most of the time, we're not seeing that dogmatic thinkers are refuting beliefs they don't agree with. They're not even engaging them. They are simply bypassing, discarding intellectual virtue and clinging to whatever narrative, whatever premises they love. Intellectual virtue does not allow them to do this. So even though a good deal of the preachers of intellectual virtue have been religious, they have been religious because they have been indoctrinated through seminaries, through religious colleges many of the time, and they really believe that an objective analysis of their beliefs will in fact lead to the affirmation or the validation of their beliefs. This is not true though. But they believe this, so they feel very content in committing themselves to intellectual virtue. So you have something very interesting going on here. You have intellectual virtue that sophists, religionists, are trying to proclaim and propagate in the world, which is a good thing. But in doing so, they lay the foundations to destroy their entire worldview, because it forces them, if they're going to practice intellectual virtue, to reject premises that are not substantiated by reason or by evidence. It commits them to being open to the falsification and destruction of their beliefs. The reason they feel confident in this is because they believe that the analysis of their religion, of their sophistry, is going to lead to the premises that they hold in highest esteem. That is not what happens, though. We just have incompetent logicians in the world. That's why you have so many religionists who are able to get away with their sophistry. these standards of intellectual virtue are dynamite for naturalism. They are explosive because the problem that naturalism has when engaging religion is that it cannot get the religionists to abide by or commit to rational standards. It cannot get the religionists to practice honest and fair thinking. Instead, they use fallacies and try to evade conclusions or realities they don't like. And so these standards that are promoted by religionists, they in fact lay the very foundation to destroy religion itself. It's like the religionists laying down a project of enlightenment, not realizing what they're doing, where that foundation they lay down is going to obliterate their entire make-believe edifice. They just don't understand this. They get away with it because most people do not have the rhetorical capacity that they have learned in these seminaries. But competent rationalists can indeed refute and shatter these sophists if epistemic virtues are in place. These virtues are not doing the sophists a favor. They are not doing the religionists a favor. That's the point I'm trying to make. And what I'm really trying to get across is that these values, these virtues, basically guarantee the destruction of the religious position precisely because of what they demand of the religionist when the religionist is evaluating their own premises or claims.